at GeraldJonesMazda.com.
Roof Savers. Save your roof, save your money.
Live from Augusta, breaking news.
Well, breaking news live at 5. A multi-agency manhunt is underway for 2 teenage inmates. Authorities are warning those in Hancock Mill, McBean, and Bennock Mill communities to lock your doors and call 911 if you see anything suspicious. You're looking at the 2 suspects here in question, 14-year-old Brandon Davis and 15-year-old Corinthian Newton. Both were being transported when authorities say they attacked a deputy and then got away. Audrey Dickherber is live for us at McBean Baptist Church. And Audrey, this is also now impacting kids getting out of school this afternoon.
Yeah, this is definitely impacting the Burke County bus route. Kids were originally getting on the bus to go to this manhunt area. That was not the case. They actually were taken back to school, and parents will have to pick them up from there. And from there, the roads are actually blocked off, so it's going to be a while before they can get back home. The people they're looking for are 14 years old and are considered armed and dangerous. Police are on the ground and in the woods with canines looking for them. There is a presence at about every house out here right now. It started with them in the back of the police car complaining about being hot and asking the police officer to roll down the windows. The officer then opened the partition in the car to let air get into them, started wrestling him. They got a hold of his gun and they fought, firing the gun off into the woods.
They are very armed and dangerous. They have a firearm. They've been in trouble for having firearms. They're burglars, so they're looking at some serious problems. And we advise anybody in the area, if you see anybody that you don't know, call 911 and let us come check them out, because they are armed and dangerous, and they're probably desperate now.
He says the police
Having some audio issues here, service issues out there in Burke County. Again, Highway 56 is also known in Richmond County as Mike Paget Highway, and that's blocked right now at Highway 23. And again, if your family lives in the Hancock Mill, McBean, and Bennock Mill communities, lock your doors and stay vigilant. You heard Audrey talk there about the 14 and 15-year-old that you're seeing here on your screen. Brandon Davis and Corinthian Newton are the 2 suspects right now that were being transferred to the Youth Detention Center here in Richmond County, where they were being transferred. The partition got lowered, and then they were able to fight off that deputy there. Took a few shots at that officer. From what we understand, that officer was not hit but was knocked unconscious, is currently in the hospital. Again, a huge search party going on right now for these 2 suspects here on your screen. There's multiple law enforcement agencies from across several different counties out there. We're also hearing that both of these suspects this afternoon are still shackled while they're out on the run here. So you heard the PIO there for Burke County, Jimmy Wild, say that they must be desperate right now. Of course, we'll continue to follow this and keep you guys updated throughout the afternoon. Riley.
A scary situation right there. Will, thank you for those updates. Here is
Riley. Soul City is getting down in downtown Augusta. Happening now, the nonprofit Downtown Soul City is celebrating achievements in the business community as well as looking towards the future. That's where our Taylor Martin is live at 5. And Taylor, what's it like out there right now?
Well, it sounds like we're listening to some James Brown music right now. They're waiting for people to come out here, and there's some food from Laziza Mediterranean Grill and also some popsicles from Augusta Pop Company. Now, they're just waiting for you to come out to have a good time, and organizers are calling this a fundraising party. So put your 70s wear on and come on out to help fund downtown Soul City and help bring business to downtown merchants. Since its conception, Downtown Soul City has one goal: to bring attention and revenue to businesses in downtown Augusta.
We just got our nonprofit status late last year, so we're really excited to bring events to the downtown community.
Bringing Camp Soul City Small Business Saturday and the 19th hole to the heart of the Garden City. Participating businesses like Bona Cafe say it helps people experience what it means to shop small and support downtown.
If you don't support your local businesses, they're not going to be there. You know, they don't have the backing of a corporate from like a million locations. So, you know, they're just one entity. So it takes a lot to keep them going.
Not only giving you and the family something fun to do, but bringing more foot traffic and more sales to the indie shops, counting on you to stay open.
For both events that we do each year, we see a big increase in business. And there's a lot of other cities that do similar things. So like Little Five Points in Atlanta has the same kind of thing where they have an event to bring people down, and it's really grown.
With the first ever downtown Get Down, you have the chance to help keep these events going.
The fundraising that goes to support the event, so that helps us put on events, right? You know, up to this point, the merchants have paying for them ourselves.
Now, if you want to come out and have some fun, then tickets are $50 out the door, and it ends at 9 p.m. tonight. And those tickets are going to include 2 drinks from Savannah River Brewing Company and some food from Laziza Mediterranean Grill. And I also hear there's going to be a little bit of a breakdancing competition going on here tonight. Now, that's not my level of expertise, but if it's yours, then come on out and have some fun.
I don't think, Taylor, that's something I'm not going to be doing either. I would love to see you try to break dance as well. We have to see that on camera a little bit later on this afternoon. No? You're saying no to that? All right, that's fair. Always good to recognize and appreciate our local businesses out there. Thanks, Taylor, for keeping us updated. Well, after months of calls from within and outside the State House for South Carolina to change the way it picks judges, action on this matter has picked up in Columbia. A week after the Senate approved a judicial reform bill, the House held a hearing on its version of the legislation today. But as our State House reporter Mary Green explains, there's a key difference between what lawmakers are considering.
In recent years, county magistrate judges' hiring and firing has been totally controlled by their local senators. A new proposal in the South Carolina House of Representatives would change that.
The governor had kind of indicated to the Senate that he wanted the magistrates to start being screened of some type, so we set up the screening.
The existing law calls for the governor to appoint magistrates with senators' recommendations, though the governor's role has largely been silent in recent years, deferring to local senators' picks. But last fall, Governor Henry McMaster sent this letter requiring magistrate nominees go through a more rigorous application process.
We're in the early stages of that experiment, but there's no question there's a place for a more detailed analysis of the magistrate's qualifications.
As part of a much larger judicial reform proposal, the House bill would build upon that by establishing a 9-member magistrates review committee. Its members would be appointed by both the Senate and the governor, and they would screen nominees and hold public hearings, as is done for other state judges, then report qualified candidates to the Senate and the governor. This bill would also give magistrates greater civil and criminal jurisdiction than they currently have.
Which just strengthens the argument that they need to go through the same or similar type of review process if they're going to be given increased jurisdiction.
Again, senators have total control over magistrate selection right now, and the other judicial reform bill at the State House, the one that senators wrote and just passed, did not propose any changes to that situation.
We just reached a point where we're like, it's just going to be too difficult to try to get to a consensus. So we're saving magistrates for another day. But I mean, I'll applaud the House if they want to try to put them together and get some good ideas out there. Let's take a look at it, because the need is there.
That House proposal is just getting started in the legislative process and currently sits in a House Judiciary Subcommittee. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
The average South Carolinian is more likely to come before a county magistrate than any other type of judge. Their duties include presiding over criminal trials for offenses carrying penalties of up to 30 days in jail or a $500 fine, and setting bond for lower level offenses. Riley?
Well, for tomorrow, the weather is not going to be quite as good as what we've seen the past few days. Rain does look likely tomorrow, but not lasting all weekend. We'll have that full forecast next.
Time and
At Rooms to Go.
Do you know why we have
Breaking news live at 5. Just in the last few moments, we've learned the 2 escaped inmates we just told you about in Burke County are now in custody. Deputies say 14-year-old Brandon Davis and 15-year-old Corinthian Newton attacked a deputy while being transported between facilities. That deputy, Milo Perry, is expected to be okay, according to deputies. Just ahead at 5:30, our Audrey Dickherber is live out where authorities are, and we'll keep you updated with the latest information with this.
We'll go now to our Thurman Dam camp.
On the state fairgrounds.
A Georgia family says they're living in a nightmare after they got a water bill claiming they used more than 30,000 gallons a day. That's enough to fill up a swimming pool. As Harry Samler explains, this all started because of confusion over who's responsible for a leak, you or your landlord.
Wash your hands.
Alexis Jones,
Both sides, yes.
kids, and her sister Erica haven't had water since November. DeKalb County shut it off because of a water bill the size of Texas, $344,000. On the upside, the family is learning a lot about water conservation. They use bottled water to do the dishes, to brush their teeth, and to use the bathroom. They go to a friend's house to do laundry and bathe.
How are you doing?
A little bit embarrassed to try not to cry on camera, but a little bit I'm not doing too good.
The stress of a $344,000 bill is overwhelming. Alexis rents. She has landlords, but the bill is in her name.
I'm in panic mode.
$20,000 to $30,000 a month, going all the way back to January 28, 2020. And DeKalb Watershed knew about it. They left a note on her door indicating a possible leak. You think?
First off, I don't have this money, and then second off, like, how did you even get to this? Because again, I'm using my water as normal.
Alexis should have reported the leak to the property owners immediately, but she made the mistake of waiting over a month, and by that time, the COVID-19 pandemic took off.
I was working 2 jobs at the time. I had 2 small kids.
100,000, 200,000. Alexis made several maintenance requests to check for a leak, but no one found it. And DeKalb let it go because there was a pandemic moratorium on water shutoffs. Here's why they couldn't find the leak. It was over there, but instead of draining into the yard, it was draining directly into the sewer below.
And this water bill is
Atlanta legal aid attorney Aaron Willoughby says tenants have to speak up, even though the property owners are responsible for maintenance.
So the owner is always going to be responsible for making repairs, whether it's a leak, whether it's an electrical issue, whether it's a hole in the roof. All those things are always the owner's responsibility once they know that there is a problem.
Wow.
2.5 years later, here it is, the leak that caused this mess. When new owners bought the property, they sent their crew to fix it. But Alexis doesn't have water, and DeKalb's decision to reduce the bill to $188,000 doesn't help. It offered her a payment plan.
For what, life?
Because there are so many factors involved, Atlanta News First Investigates asked DeKalb County to restore water, and it did. The county agreed to put the bill in dispute until this case is resolved.
It's a big release, a big sigh of just pressure being taken off of my shoulders, just being able to have more for my kids.
You may want to turn it off, you're running up the bill.
Right. I agree.
And the water bill is going to mediation to determine who's responsible, but DeKalb County did confirm that the outstanding balance was due to a leak, which is the responsibility of the property owner to repair. Riley?
Well, it's Thursday, and we are back with our latest winner for the Plunkett Heat and Air Sunshade giveaway. We'll have a look at that coming up just after the break. Or right now, here we go. So congratulations to Deborah Giosa from Barnwell, South Carolina. To get your own sunshade, just go to wrdw.com, and you can click on contest and enter right there. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up just after the break.
Spring into season.
It's the Jim Hudson Cadillac SUV event. Get behind the wheel of a new Cadillac, like a new XT6, XT5, XT4, Lyric, or Escalade. Every one in stock with exclusive savings, with more arriving daily. Plus, Jim Hudson Cadillac is taking all trades. Your chance to step into the Cadillac of your dreams is now. Come and test drive one today at Jim Hudson Cadillac on Washington Road.
Experience it once and you'll never forget it.
At the CBS Evening News, we focus on solutions, finding solutions to healthcare problems, how much money we can spend on groceries, finding solutions to help people understand what are the right choices to make for you and your family.
During Ram Truck Month, just about 10 minutes.
Well, Live at 5, we're following breaking news out of Burt County. Just in the last half hour, we learned the manhunt for 2 escaped teenager inmates is now over. 14-year-old Brandon Davis and 15-year-old Corinthian Newton are accused of attacking a deputy while being transported and hitting him in the head with a gun. Deputies say the deputy was shot at several times by the suspects, but was thankfully not hit there. We learned that they were captured just in the last 20 minutes. Now, we go live here to Audrey Dickerb, who's live at the McBean Baptist Church. And Audrey, this situation has been rapidly developing, and you just spoke with the Burt County Sheriff's Office in the last few minutes.
Yeah, the manhunt is officially over. They actually found them in a storage container. They had some bloodhounds go in where they escaped, and then the bloodhound led them to a t-shirt with blood on it, which then led them to that storage container. Once they found them, then the teens actually surrendered and came out, and now they're back in the back of a police car yet again, heading that direction. So if you're just now learning about this, to catch you guys up, 14 and a 15-year-old were on the loose after escaping, and now since then there's been a manhunt underway with, affecting school bus routes. There's been canines, people in the woods, so it's been a very long few hours out here as this has transpired over the past few hours.
We knew where they went in at, and when the bloodhound got here, they went in the woods where we thought they went in, and they eventually picked up a scent, and it led them to that shirt, and then that shirt again strengthened the scent and led them to right where they were at. The bloodhounds, one of my guys said, was very, very impressive, and they done what they were trained to do. Found our guys.
Leading up to that moment, we saw some police cars zipping by through here, going both directions as they were looking for them, really, really trying their best to get the situation under control.
And Audrey, out there at the scene, is there still an active law enforcement presence?
We've seen a few cop cars drive by, not nearly as heavy as it was. Beforehand, there was cops at about every house out here in this direction, but since then it's calmed down. In the past few seconds, we actually had a cop car drive right past me.
And you mentioned a little bit earlier, too, those school bus routes, kids getting out of school at that time, that the manhunt was happening.
As of right now, we're kind of unsure what that situation looks like. At the time, we knew that kids originally got onto the bus, but then actually got taken back to school if they lived in the area where the manhunt happened. So parents had to go with credentials and pick their kids up, but from then on, we're still working to find out more information, and we'll update you.
Yeah, scary situation out there, Audrey. Thanks for keeping us updated with this over the last hour or so that law enforcement has been searching that area out there in Burt County. Again, here's a look at your 2 suspects that were a part of that manhunt. Again, a 14 and a 15-year-old. And you heard the PIO there, Jimmy Wilds from Burt County, say that his canine officers, a bloodhound out there, was able to track down these 2 suspects. We also heard that they were shackled as well when they escaped. So he said that they were going to get desperate at some point as they were running away. And then, as we told you, they caught them relatively quickly after we brought you that update at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock. Again, here's your look at 14 and 15-year-old Brandon Davis and Corinthian Newton, now in custody out there in Burt County. As we learn more, of course, we'll continue to keep you updated with this developing situation. Well, it's on our cars, on our clothes, it's clogging up our sinuses and triggering allergic reactions everywhere you look. Pollen causes mayhem each spring, and it can make enjoying that warm weather near unbearable for a lot of us. Hallie Turner is live at 5 in the thick of this pollen outside our station. And Hallie, is there any end in sight for us here?
Yeah, well, the blanket, the yellow blanket on your car may signal a no to you, but one expert I spoke with today says that the pine pollen season is almost over. The thick yellow blanket you can see and even feel is called pine pollen. It's coming from the pine trees, and one agricultural extension agent for Richmond County tells me the spring cycle takes anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks to make its rounds. The large amounts you've been seeing are pretty normal for this time of year. It's just coming out earlier than usual, but the end is in sight.
I think it's earlier than it normally is, and I think it might have been that we were cool, and then we had a quick warm up, and then it just was like releases. I really think it'll be gone by maybe by the end of the weekend. So, and I'm not seeing these big dust clouds like they used to be. So it was pretty bad last week for sure.
Now, getting rid of that yellow blanket may be benefiting our car washes, but getting rid of it completely won't do away with the sneezing. So coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll have more on why.
We're looking to get rid of all of that pollen all over our cars. You wash the car and then you have to go get it washed a few hours later. Sounds like all we can do is just take our allergy medicine and hope for the best. Thanks for keeping us updated, Hallie. Well, round one of the 13th Sage Valley Junior Invitational is wrapping up as we speak, and our News 12 sports director Dan Booth joins us live courtside to take us through the first 18 for this young and talented field of golfers. Dan.
Will, do you remember when I talked about that little calm before the storm feeling during their final practice round on Wednesday? Well, it's interesting because even though we're getting some rain tomorrow, that storm on the course was on full display earlier today because all these players were out there putting on a show in the first round. Now, when you look at the way that everything continues to build up for this event, you couldn't ask for better weather to start an event of this magnitude, and the course conditions reflected it. The play was clean, and as expected, different names have been flying up and down the leaderboard all day, living up to the competitive hype of this extremely talented field. Whether it's their first time playing here at Sage Valley or if they've been here before, this course has its challenges, which need to be accounted for if these players want a shot to win a gold jacket.
I actually changed my whole swing just to get prepared for this tournament because there's a lot of holes that I have to hit a draw off the tees, and I like to hit a cut. So I spent last 3-4 months to work on draws. So yeah, it was definitely a huge play last year.
Prepared me very much for college. I mean, college golf courses are tough, and they're, I would say, a lot like this, for sure. So I think it's just a good start, and just, I mean, I have another year and a half, so I still have time to learn, and it's very helpful.
When it comes to the leaderboard, Joshua Bai from New Zealand is atop the leaderboard for the boys, sitting at 7 under. He started out his day with an eagle on 1, and then went on to pick up 7 birdies throughout the rest of his first 18. On the girls' side, everybody is separated atop the leaderboard with 2, 3, or even 4 golfers, all within 2 shots of each other. The lowest score at the moment is 3 under, and of course,
and it looks like we're having some.
Now, one thing I learned just a few minutes ago is we're going to end up having some. We're going to have some split tees on the tomorrow due to the weather. They're moving up the tees to 9 o'clock, and then in addition to that, they're going to have split tees on 1 and 10. The leaders are going to be teeing off around 10:40 to 10:48, somewhere in that ballpark, as the final groups get going in the round number 2, trying to get ahead a little bit of that rain that we're going to be expecting tomorrow.
Sorry about the interruption, Dan. We lost you there for a second, but great updates out there from Sage Valley, that Junior Invitational. Looks like the course is in beautiful condition there behind you. You talked about those course conditions, certainly going to play a factor moving forward into that second round. We'll look forward for the updates there out there at Sage Valley. Thanks again. The Richmond County Coroner's Office has identified the victim of a deadly accident this morning near a neighborhood at Tobacco Road at Woodcock Drive. They say the driver involved in that accident was 64-year-old Charles Bickley. Now, officials say he was taken to the hospital where he later died just after 7:30. The Alabama woman who confessed to lying about being kidnapped has pleaded guilty to criminal charges related to the hoax that set off a national search last July. Carly Russell pled guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts today for filing a false police report. She will be under probation for a year, pay a nearly $18,000 in restitution, and complete 100 hours of community service. Today, the Paralyzed Veterans of America Southeast chapter donated 10 wheelchairs to the East Central Regional Hospital to help move patients around a little easier. It's just off of Gracewood Drive near Gracewood Elementary School. The PVA advocates for both veterans and civilians. One member of the PVA spoke about how the donations and giving back has helped him.
It means a lot to me personally because everyday life isn't accessible. So to know that we're able to give equipment that helps people who can't get around be able to do that again, that's really important. It means a lot to me.
The Southeastern chapter is in both South Carolina and Georgia. Any veteran with a disability can contact the Paralyzed Veterans Association at pva.org, and you can get more information there as well. The Riverwatch Brewery is set to close after Masters Week. It survived the troubles in the pandemic when it was getting close to closing, but in the last few years, the brewery was looking for a new home. The owner says they came close multiple times, and when this latest move failed, it left them out of options. She spoke about what went into leading to this point.
We just haven't been able to, keep the customer base that we need, and now I don't have the big enough equipment to be able to do a lot of distribution, so we're just in a bind.
She said her two kids also worked at the brewery since its inception, and that all of them are planning to move on to other things.
Sad to see a local business go there. They definitely had some good product there at Riverwatch. We are expecting a wet day at Sage Valley tomorrow. We'll have a look at that full forecast coming up. Heads our way by Wednesday.
It's a question we've all asked. Should I buy a new computer or try to get the computer I have fixed? I'm Jamie Tucker. Coming up, some answers to those questions to help you decide.
Well, when was the last time you upgraded your computer? If you're like many people, it's been a long time, and you may wonder if it's time to get a new one. One of our viewers sent that question to our consumer tech reporter, Jamie Tucker.
What the Tech, sponsored by Augusta Preparatory Day School.
Yeah, this question comes from viewer Vanessa Hatfield, who writes, my laptop is about 15 years old. It was able to upgrade to Windows 10, but not Windows 11. When I turned it on today, it was very slow. How much longer can I keep my laptop? PC's life expectancy is around 5 to 7 years, after which you start running into some problems. At 5 years old, PCs will generally become much slower to start up and operate software programs. And let's face it, we're all slower than we were 15 years ago. If you just can't part with an old computer, you may be able to speed it up to some degree. If your computer or laptop has one of the older spinning hard drives known as a SATA drive, here's what will happen at some point. A dead hard drive means you'll lose everything on it unless, of course, it's backed up onto another drive. I suggest having a qualified computer technician to install an SSD or solid state drive. That'll speed things up. You can also try using the free software program CCleaner. This software deletes trackers and unnecessary files and removes apps and programs that load at startup. But it is probably time to upgrade a computer after 7 years. And it's a good time to do it now because new PCs will come preloaded with Windows 11, and you'll probably pay a little less than you did in 2010 for a much better computer. I will add, if you only use a laptop for web browsing, checking Facebook and email, and you keep it free from malware, it is not out of the question for a PC to last 10 to 15 years. However, it will have limitations and it will be slow. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Marvel movies, The Hunger Games, and even the Fast and the Furious franchise have pushed Georgia's film industry into stardom, and it's all in part thanks to a large tax breaks for movies and television shows that would otherwise be shot in Hollywood. But some Georgia lawmakers are rethinking how the tax credit works, like requiring studios to spend more in the state to max out the tax credit. Georgia is projected to give out more than $1 billion in credits this year alone, and now state-sponsored evaluations show the credits cost outweighs its economic benefit. For now, the bill sits in the Senate with the last day of Georgia's legislative session next Thursday. Riley?
Well, we are above average this afternoon, but temps will dip back below average through the weekend. Have another quick look at that forecast just after the break.
At all nights, we're here to answer the call.
Bracket Mania continues this evening with the first round of baby names for Zoo Atlanta's newest rhino. Some of these names are suggestions by the zoo staff and others are from the public. Zoo Atlanta says their southern white rhino, Kaiser, gave birth Christmas Eve to a little girl. Some of the standout names include Noodles, Stella, Phoebe, and Zahara. You can go and vote on your favorite in each bracket from now until next Tuesday. I'm a little upset here because Meredith, we talked about names for that rhino. Meredith had added Wilma, and it didn't get in there. I'm upset now.
That's sad to hear. I think Wilma would be a great rhinoceros name.
I like Zahara. I like that one.
Zahara's good. Phoebe, always kind of a classic. Just
How does
fun.
Noodles get in there, but Wilma doesn't? That's my question.
Noodles just doesn't. Doesn't fit a rhino. It doesn't look like a noodle.
Not sure about that one either.
Yeah. But rhinos are very cool creatures. I always love seeing those. Hey, we got some great baseball action going on at SRP Park tonight. This is still the JV game ongoing for Harlem and North Augusta. Varsity's going to start right after, so still some time to get out to SRP, and tickets, not too bad, $10 if you want to head to the ballpark tonight. Temperatures are in the mid-70s, very comfortable. Definitely no need for the jacket tonight. Temps will be in the 70s and 60s during both games for the rest of this evening. So JV game going on right now, temps in the mid-70s. By the time we get to the varsity game, we'll most likely be dropping into the 60s and just bringing in a few clouds. No rain in our forecast until we get to tomorrow. So clear scans on our radar network for most of the two-state. The rain west of us, though, that is going to show up by just before, I'd say, midday heading into tomorrow. So the cloud coverage is increasing the rest of tonight. This is the rain heading our way throughout the day Friday. You could see pretty widespread across the region, and it will be heavy at times. So continuing a low flood risk Friday. Luckily, heading into the weekend, less of a rain chance Saturday than sunshine Sunday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Introducing the First Alert Radar Network.
With up to 10 times the resolution of other local radars and technology that can pinpoint right down to your street.
First just got faster. The Wilson family